Okay, the start of the flat season is upcoming. We've had 4 great days at the Cheltenham Festival, and traditionally, Gav, the first Sunday or Monday after the Cheltenham Festival, we see the start of the Irish Turf Flat season. And for the first time since 2016, the Curragh are staging the first Irish Turf meeting of the year. Exciting times.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for the Curragh to get the first meeting back again. Obviously, they've done huge redevelopment there that looks fantastic. So I'm looking forward to go down to the Curragh a couple of times this summer. Yeah, so it should be a good day on Sunday.
Absolutely right. It's all about winners, and that's what we're here for. So we're going to start with the opening maiden. It's over 5 furlongs. Between Ace and the Curragh, it doesn't really matter. Jim Bulger's farmed this race. He's won 3 of the last 6, and he had a good record in this maiden when it was run at the Curragh. A certain new approach managed to win this before going on to greater things. Yeah, or Dawn approach, I should say.
Dawn approach. He had 5 entries in this race during the week, so obviously he's targeting it. The one that Kevin Manning is riding is Freedom of Speech. He's got 2 in it, another one ridden by Rory Cleary as well. It's by Australia, who obviously, as we know, won a Derby, so it's interesting that it's starting over 5 furlongs. Aidan O'Brien, you'd imagine, be the morning favourite. Cadamosto, and I see Ryan Moore is over, so it'll be interesting to see. It's hard to know whether Aidan's are fully tuned up for March, or just do they improve for a run. Cadamosto, the Damn Saucy Spirit was by Invincible Spirit, which means that it should handle the ground, you'd imagine. So maybe Aidan's, but obviously none of them have ran yet, so maybe the market might be the best guide.
Yeah, market is going to be the greatest guide. And we have to mention Dunnett. It's his first or second full season as a trainer. He did really well with his 2-year-olds last year. He had 16 2-year-olds who ran, and 7 of them managed to win. And he's got Silver Surfer. This one's Dam actually managed to win with Cut in the Ground at Deauville. So maybe Silver Surfer might be one to go. But we reckon it's between the O'Briens, the opening maiden.
Yeah, I think that Jim Bulgers probably needs further. It's interesting that Silver Surfer by Caravaggio, the Coventry winner, and ridden by Gavin Ryan, who's a future star, as we know.
Absolutely right. So it'll be Aidan or Dunnick in the opening race for us. We move on to the second race. It's the Paddy Power from the Horse's Mouth Handicap. It's over 5 furlongs. What do you think here?
I think the ground, obviously, a huge factor. The ground at the moment is soft to heavy. There's no rain between now and racing on Sunday, but it'll probably stay at least soft. There's 2 horses that are very fit from the flat at Dundalk, Big Gossy and Ecclesiastical, who have been in good form. They've both won up there. The only thing is their best form is on decent ground. I might take a chance with Downforce. He's drawn 12 of 12. The stalls are in the middle of the track for Sunday, so he absolutely loves the Curragh. He loves soft to heavy ground. It couldn't be soft enough for him. Now, he is 9-year-old, but Nathan Cross claims 5. He's top weight of 101. But I just thought maybe, because of the ground, maybe Downforce each way.
Okay, and I'm going to go for another horse who likes the ground. It's Pretty Boyd Floyd. He's a course and distance winner. He's twice won at the Curragh. 4 times he's run at the Curragh. He's never been out of the first 4. He's proven on the ground. And Wayne Lorden rides for Sarah Dawson, and I just thought he might be interesting. But again, Sunday we're going to see, you're going to need horses who go on this type of ground. Absolutely,
and again, you know, it's probably a slight guessing game if every horse is fully fit or not. You know, so you have to take that into account.
Absolutely. Move on to the third race. It's the Big Picture Communications Fillies Maiden, 7 furlong, 3-year-olds and upwards. And we've got a few fillies who've got some nice entries here.
Yeah, to me, this looks a good thing. The favourite will be Joan of Arc. I see she has an entry in the Guineas. There was huge talk of her when she ran in Dundalk. It was a decent enough maiden. She was beaten a short head by Hazel. Yeah. It looked like she actually won that night. Kevin O'Ryan, when they went by the line, he actually said, the favourite's up. But she was actually beating a short head. There was huge talk. She's by Galileo out of You're So Thrilling.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable breeding. I have a note here. It's a half-sister to Glen Eagles, Marvellous, Happily, Taj Mahal and Vatican City. That'll be the same thing now as you, Rob, being a brother to Tomas O'Shea, Mark O'Shea and Dara O'Shea.
Absolutely.
If you couldn't play football, you'd be in a bad way. But Joan of Arc, I think she'll win, and I could see her definitely ended up in the Guineas. The second favourite presumably be the Dermot Weld horse ridden by Colin Keane for Myglaire. That's an interesting jockey booking. He's got 2 in it, but I'd imagine Joan of Arc might be odds on, and I think she'll win. Yeah, and I'm going to go for the Dermot Weld runner. As you said, it's Colin Keane's first ride in the season for Dermot, and he's going to have a lot of rides for him. She's by the Bowie. We know the Bowie likes soft ground. Out of Carla Bianca, she was a 2-time Group 1, Group 3 winner on ground like this, and she's got entries in the Irish 1,000 guineas and races like that. So if it was a case that Joan of Arc might be in need of a run, Dermot's he's done well at this meeting in years gone by, and I think you're right. I think it's between the two. So you're going for Aidan, and I'll go for Dermot. Yeah, I think that you made a very good point, and the mark will be a strong guide. If Aidan maybe drifts in the bet, and there's a lot of money for Dermot, maybe Dermot, but I think long term Joan of Arc will end up being the best horse, but I'll go for her on Sunday. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she's got plenty of fancy entries. The 305, the Paddy Power Madrid Handicap, Michael Mavani won it 12 months ago. Aidan and Dermot might have chances here as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Duke of Mantua, it ran first time out in the Curragh, actually over 6 furlongs, was a huge eye catcher, and then went off, was heavily punted in Gorham Park over 7. It went off odds on. Both times it was slightly slowly away. It was slowly away in Gorham Park, got shuffled along after a couple of furlongs. Again, it's probably going to end up very, very well handicapped off 104. You just have to take a chance maybe that it's fully fit. I could see it trading bigger in running because, as I said to you, it was slowly away and was nickled along Gorham Park over 7. The straight 7 would probably suit. It's by no name ever. I'd probably just about go for Duke of Mantua, but it would, want to be fit and fancied, and would want to travel a bit better than did at Gorham. So.
And you mentioned that first run when it showed plenty of greenness. It was third to St. Mark's Basilica. Of course, he ended up in one of Aidan's best 2-year-olds last season. Yeah,
and even Lochlean, it was a really, really good run. So,
yeah.
Look, generally, a horse like Duke of Mantua, don't you know, he'll end up being a Group 3, a Group 2 horse perhaps. So it's just down to fitness, really. If he's fit, I'd imagine he should win. But that's a guess and a chance you have to take, really.
Yeah, and similarly to the previous race, I'm going to go for Dermot Wells runner. He gets £13 off the top weight. Obviously, it won't be easy to give weight all round, but that's Erzin Jan, 1 from 3, 1 at Cork, 1 on heavy ground, but it's got a 2,000 guineas and a Derby entry by Lope de Vega, so we know it'll most definitely like the ground. It's already proven on the ground. And again, Colin Keane in the Aga Khan colours, I think it's a significant booking. So again, it looks between Aidan's and Dermot's, and as we said, classic entries, you can't beat them.
No, Johnny Murtagh has 2 in it as well. Just to say about Erzincan, the day of one in Cork, I'd say it was maybe the worst ground of the year.
Sure.
It was really, really heavy that day, so it got through it. It ran since in Leopardstown, as you say, but and it's getting to £13. But interesting to see. Again, the market will be a strong guide, and if the market is a positive for Duke of Mantua, maybe he'll win.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. We come on to the next. It's a maiden over 7 furlongs. With the greatest respect to a lot of these, there's a lot of Deadwood, and probably the horses who haven't run are the ones to keep an eye on, especially in the market. Yeah,
I'd imagine Horoscope might be the morning favourite. Had 2 runs. Was 4th in the Curragh when it was a huge eye catcher, as Aidan's often are, first time out behind Khartoum. And then it was heavily punted to win in Leopardstown, and it went off 8 to 13 and was 2nd to Sword Zorro. But just to say to you, both days it's been very, very slowly away. It's been niggled along, never looked like winning, to be honest with you, in Leopardstown. And as a result, I'm going to go for Probe. So this time I'm going for the Weld one. I'm flipping what you've done in the last 2 races. It's Probe by Kingman out of Tested. She was rated, I think, 109. She won a couple of Group 3s.
That's right.
So I think she's drawn 4. Horoscope is drawn out in the car park in 16. It's only over 7 furlongs. So the draw is quite important over 7. The low draw is better. So yeah, I think Horoscope maybe needs further. He's slowly away. I'm going to go for Probe. What about yourself?
Okay, and I'm going to flip again away from Dermot Weld, and I'm going to go for Darren Bunyan's newcomer, and that's Notre Belle Betty. Now, it's got an entry in the Irish 2,000 guineas. Buys often, as we know, Darren's horses, he's been known to have them ready to rock early in the season. He won the 2-year-old maiden on this card a couple of times. This is Buys often. We know Zoffany's handle cutting the ground. Of course, Albania won her Group 1 in France on very soft ground. And I just think the fact that Darren has this lad out early, he's got a classic entry. Darren is well used to getting winners early in the season. I just think this might be a springer in the market, and especially with Darren's horses, you'll know early in the morning if this one's fancied. So it's a bit of an unknown, unlike Aidan's, but if you're looking for something in the betting without Aidan's, maybe Darren Bunyan's newcomer might be the way to go.
Yeah, I'd be happy enough to take on Aidan's. As I said to you, he's just slowly away and maybe needs further, but Darren Bunyan, when the money is down, he doesn't usually leave it behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, come on to the feature race, the Paddy Power Irish Lincoln. It's a race the sponsors no doubt will be offering extra places. You fond memories of this? This is obviously way before you were born. I think 2002, was it?
In 2002, my father owned a horse called Mr. Houdini. He ended up 3rd in this race. He went on to win a listed race in Leopardstown a couple of years after. But 2002, 19 years ago. I think I was 3, so...
All right.
I was going to say I was in a pram, which I've hardly been in a pram at 3, but
No.
no, I was there that day. He ran a cracker. He would finish third. In this race this year, very, very, very open. I'm sure is it 6 or 7 to 1 the field.
Yeah.
I'll throw a few at you, Rob. Maker of Kings for Ger Lyons was very unlucky in the Curragh one day back in September. It went for a run up the rail and was blocked. It then did us a favour down in Tipperary. It beat Teed Up, who's favourite, and then was second to Theophile and Leopardstown. I think that must have a good chance. I think the ground will suit. Ger's a class trainer. I'm sure he'll have him fit. I'm sure he's targeted this race. Party Moon is a very interesting one for Tony Mullins.
Yeah.
Paddy Kyo, who's a bit of a legend, did a fantastic year last year. So I think Party Moon come from Germany. I think it had 6 runs and 2 wins. It's in here off 90 rather. Joey Sheridan claims the 5. First time tongue tie, drawn 10. I see it's 14 to 1. Now, if it's fancied, I'd say it could go off 8 or 10 to 1. Paddy doesn't mind having a bet. So that's a very, very interesting horse. G-Rex is also interesting for him at Mullins, the man of the moment. I think it's 25 to 1 shot. That's probably too big. And even Take a Chance Jimmy loves a mile, loves soft ground, was very impressive last year in the Curragh. So there's a few for you. If I had to pick 2, it would be Maker of Kings and maybe Party Moon belonging to Tony Mullins. What do you like?
And you mentioned Party Moon was actually a market mover during the week, and a very similar profile to Princess Zoe, because Princess Zoe came from Germany as well. Same colours, same trainer, same jockey, and has been a market mover.
Okay. Well, yeah, you'd have to sit up and take notice of that, yeah. It's a very, very open race, but certainly Party Moon and Maker of Kings must have great chances.
Yeah, and I like Maker of Kings. Ger Lyons has won this race twice in the last 4 years. He's won over a mile and 2, so we know that the test of stamina won't be any problem to him. He's in good form. He's proven on the ground, and it's only one of 2 rides that Colin Keane has for Ger on Sunday. So I think they must fancy this. And he is off 98. He's gone up a bit in the ratings, but he's got plenty in his favour. And as you said, when trainers target races, it's always worth following.
Yeah, when you see if for Ger Lyons, from his point of view, Maker Kings is probably not just at listed or Group 3 level yet. So this would be an obvious race to target. It hasn't run since the middle of October, and that was off 96. So yeah, I'd say they've targeted this race and must have a strong each way chance.
Yeah, so it's Maker of Kings and Party Moon are 2 horses against the field. We come on to the penultimate race. It's the What Odds Paddy Handicap over a mile. Tricky.
Very, very tricky. I'm struggling with these last 2 races, Rob. It's interesting that Dundori maybe for Colin Keane, Tony Martin. It's stepping down in trip a lot. It has won in the Curragh over 10 furlongs and heavy, and was placed twice since in Dundalk. So that must have a chance, but it's a race. I don't think I'll have a bet in, but maybe Dundori each way.
Yeah, and Dundari was the one I picked out as well, as we said. He's proven over further, and Colin Keane has ridden him a few times, so the fact that he stayed loyal might be a tip in itself. And we come on to the final race. It's at 5:10. It's the Paddy Rewards Club Handicap over 6 furlongs. This isn't easy either.
I was going to say the English Grand National will be easier. It probably would. Yeah. 6 furlongs, 20 runners. You have 3 reserves, so I'm sure there'll be 20 running. Again, very difficult. Probably won't have a bet, but I had to just tip one up. I'd say maybe the last night for Ger Lyons. Slightly checked the last day in Dundalk. It's a maiden, it's off 70. Maybe it's open to improvement. But here's the bet for you, Rob. What price would you give me that if I told you what will be in front at halfway? Will you give me 5 to 1 the field? Absolutely,
yeah. I'd say this is... you could throw a blanket over the first 5 or 6 at 2 furlongs out and you mightn't get the winner.
Can I have a tenner with you on Glowworm to be in front at halfway?
Glowworm it is.
She'll definitely take them along. She'll probably be 4 or 5 clear, I think. But she generally just, she's a long time maiden. She probably won't stay the 6, but she'll take them along on a good clip. Maybe the last night, but very lukewarm. What do you like?
Yeah, well, at least you've said it with Glowworm. If people want to back her, they know exactly what they're going to get, and they're going to get a good run for your money. As you said, it's very tough, and a complete stop in the dark is Zahi. Now, he's a 10-time maiden. He's only run once in turf. He's run at Dundalk, and he's run well a couple of times, but he's fit. He's trained by Adrian McGuinness. He's by Ifraj, who obviously is proven with horses on underfoot conditions. And Keane McRaven taking off 7. It's a complete stab in the dark, but I think the fact that they're switching to turf with this lad, and he's bred to go on on soft ground, he might just be one at a price. But as you said, if you pick the winner of this, you should be doing the lotto maybe the following week.
Yeah, I think this is. Look at. I like backing horse in the flat, but I think for the first 3 or 4 weeks it's very tricky because the ground, you don't know which stables are in form yet.
Yeah.
I love backing horse in the flat on their second start of the season. So I'll be definitely taking a watch and brief mostly on Sunday. There's a lot of horses first time out. You're not certain if Aiden's are maybe fully fit because he sees the bigger picture. So I don't think I'll have too many bets, but it's definitely really informative. And certainly on Monday, if you get a chance to look back through your videos, I think that's worthwhile. Okay,
let's finish off with the best bets in the card. What's your most likely winner that you've talked to us about?
I'll take a chance that Joan of Arc is at least 90% fit. I think she is going to be a Group 2 horse at least. I think she's going to be top drawer. She's well bred, as we said. Just take a chance. I think fitness is the only question for me. She's drawn well in 5. So for me, Joan of Arc would be the bet of the day.
And straight after that, I'm going to go for Ayers and Jan against Aiden's top weight. Gets £13. As you said, the day it won in Cork was absolutely bottomless. Bile up the Vega. And as we said, has got a 2,000 guineas in Derby entry. And you'd be surprised if Colin and Dermot didn't click at least once on Sunday.
You would, yeah. 2 class stables. So, look, with Ryan Moore over to ride them, you'd imagine that maybe the horses are forward.
Yeah.
For example, if the 2-year-old won the first race, Cadamosto, well, then I think you'd see Joan of Arc's price shortening. So keep your finger on the button there. If Cadamosto runs well, maybe back Joan of Arc.
Okay, well, that's it. Thanks for your time, Gav. It's all about the Curragh on Sunday. Plenty of exciting weeks and months to come at the home of the classics. And the very best of luck if you're having a bet at the Curragh this Sunday.